The rain hammered against the metal roof of the small repair shop like angry fists. Daeho wiped the grease from his hands and looked up from the broken engine he was fixing. Someone was knocking on his door. Not the polite kind of knocking either. This was desperate, urgent. He walked to the door and opened it. Standing in the rain was a girl, but she was not human. Her skin glowed with a soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. She was small and thin, maybe reaching up to his chest. Her large eyes were filled with tears that glowed the same blue as her skin. She was shaking from cold and fear. "Please," she said in broken human language, "please help me. My mother. She is trapped. The Sky Hunter took her." Daeho felt his stomach drop. Sky Hunters. Everyone on this planet knew about them. Massive creatures that lived in the storm clouds above. They were the reason people stayed on the ground. They were the reason ships didn't fly too high. They were death with wings. "Come inside," Daeho said, pulling the girl out of the rain. "You are freezing." The girl stumbled into his shop. Her glow dimmed as she moved, leaving wet footprints that sparkled on his floor. Daeho grabbed a blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. She clutched it with shaking hands. "My name is Nari," she said. "I am from the Lumini people. We live in the valley 3 days' walk from here. A Sky Hunter came 2 days ago. It took my mother, Hana. It carried her into the sky, into the storms. We cannot follow. We have no ships, no weapons. We are not fighters." Daeho had seen the Lumini before. They were peaceful people who lived simple lives. They grew strange, glowing plants and traded them for supplies. They never caused trouble. They never asked for much. Until now. "Why come to me?" Daeho asked, though he already knew the answer. "You are human," Nari said, as if that explained everything. "Humans do impossible things. Everyone says so. You fought in the war. You saved people from places no one could reach. Please, my mother is all I have. She is still alive. I can feel it. Our people, we share a connection. She is hurt, but alive. Please, human, please help." Daeho sat down heavily on a workbench. He was 52 years old. He had retired from rescue work 5 years ago after his last mission nearly killed him. He fixed engines now. Simple work. Safe work. He had promised himself no more crazy missions. No more risking his life. But looking at this girl, this child who had walked for days in the rain to find him, he felt something crack inside his chest. The old feeling. The one that made him run toward danger instead of away from it. "The Sky Hunters are the most dangerous creatures on this planet," Daeho said carefully. "They live in the high atmosphere where the storms never stop. The wind up there can tear a ship apart. The lightning is constant. The cold will freeze you solid. And the Sky Hunters themselves are nearly impossible to kill. They are bigger than any ship I have. Their wings create electromagnetic pulses that destroy electronics. They are smart, too. Smarter than people think." Nari's glow dimmed further. She looked at the floor. "Then you will not help." "I didn't say that," Daeho replied. He rubbed his face with both hands. "I am saying it is very dangerous. I am saying I might fail. I am saying we might all die trying. But you will try?" Nari looked up, hope sparking in her glowing eyes. Daeho stood and walked to a cabinet on the wall. He opened it and pulled out an old jacket covered in patches and burn marks. His rescue team jacket. He had not worn it in 5 years. "I will try," he said, "but I cannot do this alone. I need my old team. And I need you to tell me everything you know about where your mother is. Every detail. Can you do that?" Nari nodded so hard her whole body moved. "Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you, human." "Call me Daeho," he said with a small smile, "and stop thanking me until we actually succeed." Over the next hour, Nari told Daeho everything. The sky hunter had come at dawn. It had been hunting the large animals that grazed near the Lumini village. Hana had been outside, tending to the crops. The creature had swooped down and grabbed her in its massive claws. It had carried her straight up into the clouds. The Lumini had no way to follow, no technology, no weapons. They had argued for a whole day about what to do before Nari decided to find a human who could help. Daeho listened and made notes on a datapad. He asked questions about the timing, the direction, the size of the creature. Nari answered as best she could. When she finished, Daeho had a rough idea of where the sky hunter's nest might be. "Stay here tonight," Daeho said. "I have a spare room upstairs. Tomorrow I will contact my old team. If they agree to help, we start planning immediately. Your mother does not have much time." "How long does she have?" Nari asked in a small voice. Daeho did not want to answer, but he had always believed in honesty. Sky hunters keep their prey alive for several days, sometimes a week. They prefer fresh meat. Your mother has been gone 2 days. That gives us maybe 5 days, maybe less. Nari's glow flickered like a candle in the wind, but she nodded. "Then we must hurry." That night, Daeho sat in his workshop and stared at his old jacket. He thought about all the people he had saved over the years. He thought about the ones he had failed to save. He thought about his promise to himself to never risk his life again. Then he thought about Nari, alone in his spare room, trying to sleep while her mother waited in a nightmare nest somewhere in the storm clouds. He picked up his communication device and started making calls. First to Yuna, his old engineer friend. Then to Taiwan, who knew weapons better than anyone. Finally to Bora, the best medic he had ever worked with. He told them all the same thing: an impossible rescue, a sky hunter's nest, probably suicide. All 3 of them said yes within minutes, because that was what humans did. When someone needed help, when the situation seemed impossible, when everyone else said it could not be done, humans said one simple word: yes. Daeho looked up at the ceiling toward where Nari slept. He whispered a promise into the darkness. "I will bring your mother home, kid, or I will die trying." The rain continued to fall outside. The wind howled. And somewhere high above in the storm clouds, a mother waited for rescue that should never come. But she did not know about humans yet. She did not know about Daeho. She did not know that impossible was just another word for difficult. She would learn soon enough. The sun had barely risen when Yuna arrived at Daeho's shop. She was a short woman with quick hands and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She carried a heavy toolbox that looked like it weighed more than she did. Behind her came Taiwan, tall and quiet, with a long case strapped to his back that probably held enough weapons to start a small war. Last came Bora, calm and steady with her medical kit and a bag of xenobiology equipment. They all looked older than when Daeho had last seen them. More gray hair, more lines on their faces, but their eyes were the same, ready, determined. "You actually called us for a sky hunter rescue," Yuna said, setting down her toolbox with a heavy thunk. "I thought you were joking." "I never joke about suicide missions," Daeho replied. "You should know that by now." Taiwan snorted. "Fair point. Where's the client?" Nari emerged from the back room. Her glow was brighter now after a night of rest and food. She looked at the 3 humans nervously. "This is Nari," Daeho said. "Her mother was taken by a sky hunter 2 days ago. Nari, this is my team. Yuna builds and fixes anything. Taiwan handles weapons and defense. Bora is our medic and knows more about alien biology than anyone on this planet." Nari bowed deeply, a gesture of respect among her people. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for helping." Bora smiled kindly. "We have not helped yet, little one, but we will try our best." They gathered around Daeho's workbench, where he had spread out maps and data on a screen. The maps showed the upper atmosphere of the planet, the storm layers, and the estimated locations of known skyhunter nests. "Here is what we know," Daeho began. "Skyhunters are apex predators. They are massive, with wingspans up to 200 meters. They generate bioelectric fields that can shut down most electronics. They nest in the storm layer where winds reach 400 kilometers per hour and lightning strikes constantly. The nests are made of crystallized metal and organic matter, usually built in the eye of permanent storm cells." "Sounds fun," Yuna said dryly. "And we are supposed to fly a ship up there?" "A modified ship," Daeho corrected. "We need EMP shielding, storm-resistant plating, and backup manual controls in case the electronics fail anyway. Can you do it?" Yuna squinted at the data. "Maybe. I have an old cargo shuttle that we can strip down and rebuild. It will take me 2 days, 3 if we want it to actually work." "We have 5 days at most," Daeho said. "Nari says her mother is still alive. Skyhunters keep prey alive for up to a week." 2 days, then," Yuna said firmly. "I will sleep on the ship." Taewon leaned forward. "Even if we reach the nest, how do we deal with the Skyhunter itself? Standard weapons will not work. Their hide is too thick, and their bioelectric field will fry any electronic targeting systems." "We don't fight it," Daeho said. "We outsmart it. Skyhunters hunt using electromagnetic senses. They feel the electrical signals from living things and machines. We build a decoy, a drone that mimics the electromagnetic signature of prey. We launch it when we approach the nest. The Skyhunter chases the decoy. We grab Nari's mother and we run before it realizes the trick." "That is a lot of ifs," Taewon muttered. "If the decoy works, if we can find the mother, if we can escape before it catches us." "Yes," Daeho agreed. "A lot of ifs. That is why I called you 3. You are the best at turning ifs into certainties." Bora had been studying Nari carefully. "Tell me about your mother's biology. If she has been in that nest for 2 days, she will be injured and in shock. I need to know what medical supplies to bring." Nari explained that Lumini were fragile compared to humans. They needed warm temperatures and could not survive long in the cold. They required a specific type of nutrition that came from their glowing plants. They healed slowly from physical injuries. Their glow dimmed when they were hurt or afraid. "I can work with that," Bora said, making notes. "I will prepare warming blankets, nutrient supplements, and pain medication that should be safe for her biology. But Nari, you should come with us. If your mother is traumatized or confused, seeing you might help her stay calm." "I want to come," Nari said quickly. "I need to help save her." Daeho nodded. "Then you come. But you follow every order we give. No arguments. Understood?" "Understood," Nari said seriously. For the next 2 days, they worked without stopping. Yuna practically lived inside the cargo shuttle, ripping out unnecessary systems and installing reinforced plating. She built an EMP shield using salvaged military-grade components and installed backup manual controls for every critical system. The ship looked ugly when she finished, covered in mismatched metal plates and exposed wiring, but it would fly into hell itself. Taewon built the decoy drone. It was a simple device, but he packed it with electromagnetic generators that would mimic the signature of living prey. He also installed smoke generators and light strobes to make it more attractive to the sky hunter's senses. He called it flying bait and seemed unreasonably proud of it. Bora prepared her medical supplies and studied everything known about sky hunter nests. She learned that the nests used electromagnetic fields to preserve captured prey in a kind of stasis. The prey remained alive, but barely conscious. It was cruel efficiency. The sky hunter kept its food fresh until it was ready to eat. Daeho spent his time reviewing flight data and weather patterns. He found a narrow window when the storms would be slightly less violent. Just 12 hours. If they missed it, they would have to wait another month. Nari's mother did not have a month. On the third morning, they gathered at the shuttle. It sat on the landing pad looking like it had been built from spare parts and hope, which was not far from the truth. "This beautiful disaster is ready to fly," Yuna announced, patting the shuttle's hull affectionately. "She will get us up there. Getting us back down is another story." "One problem at a time," Daeho said. He turned to his team. "Last chance to back out. No shame if you do. This mission is crazy even by our standards." Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. They just looked at him with expressions that said everything. "Right," Daeho said with a slight smile. "Let us go steal someone's mother from a monster's nest." They boarded the shuttle. Nari sat in a jump seat, strapped in tight, her glow pulsing rapidly with nervous energy. Bora sat beside her, speaking softly to keep her calm. Taewon secured his weapons and the decoy drone. Yuna took the co-pilot seat next to Daeho. Daeho powered up the engines. They coughed and sputtered before roaring to life. The whole shuttle shook. "That does not sound good," Taewon called from the back. "It sounds perfect," Yuna shouted back. "That is the sound of engines that refuse to quit." Daeho grinned despite himself. He had missed this. The team. The impossible mission. The feeling that they were about to do something that everyone said could not be done. He gripped the controls and looked at the storm clouds above. Somewhere up there, in the lightning and wind and cold, a mother waited. She had no idea that help was coming. She had no idea that 4 humans and 1 determined daughter were about to fly into the most dangerous place on the planet to save her. The shuttle lifted off the ground. It wobbled, steadied, then shot upward toward the clouds. "Here we go," Daeho muttered. "Time to show that sky hunter why you don't mess with a human's rescue mission." The shuttle climbed higher and higher, leaving the safety of the ground behind. Above them, the storm layer waited like a living wall of violence. And beyond that, somewhere in the eye of the tempest, a monster guarded its prize. But monsters had never stopped humans before. The first layer of clouds was gentle. Soft white mist rolled past the shuttle's windows as they climbed. Nari pressed her face against the glass, watching the ground disappear below. She had never been this high before. Her people stayed on the ground where it was safe. "Enjoy the view while you can," Yuna said from the co-pilot seat. "It gets worse from here." She was right. At 5,000 meters, the clouds turned gray. At 7,000, they turned black. The shuttle began to shake as the wind picked up. Rain hammered against the hull like stones. Daeho's hands moved constantly across the controls, making tiny adjustments to keep them level. "Storm layer begins at 10,000 meters, Yuna reported, watching her instruments. "We are at 8,000 now. EMP shields are online and holding." Lightning flashed outside, so bright it lit up the entire cabin. Thunder followed immediately, so loud that Nari cried out and covered her ears. Her glow flickered with fear. "That was close," Taewon said, checking his equipment straps. "Too close." "It gets closer," Daeho said calmly. "Everyone hold on." They punched through into the storm layer, and everything went insane. The wind grabbed the shuttle and threw it sideways. Daeho fought the controls, muscles straining. The shuttle spun once, twice before he got it back under control. Rain turned to hail that cracked against the windscreen. Lightning struck constantly, creating a web of electric fire all around them. "Hull integrity at 90%, Yuna called out over the noise. "We have some buckling in Section 3. "Can we make it?" Daeho asked. "Ask me again in 5 minutes." The shuttle climbed higher. The shaking got worse. Equipment rattled in its storage bins. Warning lights flashed on the console. One of the engines coughed and died before sputtering back to life. Bora held on to Nari, keeping the girl from being thrown around, despite the restraints. 12,000 meters, Yuna said. 13,000. The nest should be at 15,000 in the eye of the storm cell. How do we find the eye? Taewon asked. We follow the lightning, Daeho said. It curves around the eye. We find the pattern and follow it inward. It was easier said than done. The lightning struck in seemingly random patterns, creating momentary pathways of light through the darkness. But Daeho had flown through worse. He watched. He waited. He found the rhythm. There. The lightning bolts curved slightly to the left, always to the left. They were circling something. I have it, Daeho said. He turned the shuttle and followed the curve. The wind fought him every meter of the way. The engines screamed with effort, but slowly, gradually, the shaking began to ease. They burst through into the eye of the storm. Suddenly, everything was calm. The wind died to almost nothing. The lightning surrounded them on all sides, creating a cylinder of electric light. But inside the eye, it was peaceful, almost silent. Nari gasped. Even Daeho felt his breath catch. The nest hung before them like something from a nightmare. It was massive, easily 200 meters across, built in layers that spiraled upward. The structure was made of metal pieces torn from crashed ships, mixed with bones, crystallized minerals, and materials Daeho could not identify. It glowed faintly with bioelectric energy. In the center was a dark opening, like a mouth waiting to swallow them. By all the stars, Bora whispered. It is enormous. I am reading multiple electromagnetic signatures inside, Yuna said, scanning with their instruments. One is much stronger than the others. That must be the Sky Hunter. The weaker signatures are probably prey. I count 7 distinct sources. Can you identify which one is Nari's mother? Daeho asked. Nari leaned forward. Let me see. I know her signal. We are connected. Yuna showed her the screen. Nari studied the patterns of light that represented living creatures. After a moment, she pointed with a glowing finger. There. That one. The light pulses like a heartbeat, just like mine. That is my mother. She is in the deeper section of the nest, Yuna said. We will have to go inside to reach her. Where is the Sky Hunter? Taewon asked. Also inside, Yuna replied. The large signature. It is in the upper section, between us and the mother. Daeho thought quickly. The plan was to use the decoy to draw the Sky Hunter out of the nest. But if they launched the decoy now and it flew away, the creature might follow it out of the eye and into the storm. They would lose track of it. It could circle back and catch them by surprise. We need to draw it out, but keep it visible, Daeho said. Taewon, set the decoy to circle the nest at close range. Make it look like prey that is curious but nervous. I can do that, Taewon said. He programmed the drone quickly, fingers dancing over the controls. Ready when you are. Launch it. The drone shot out of the shuttle's cargo bay. It circled the nest once, twice, its electromagnetic signature blazing bright. Inside the nest, something moved. The Sky Hunter emerged from the dark opening. It was beautiful and terrible all at once. Its body was sleek and muscular, covered in scales that shimmered between blue and black. Its wings spread wide, each one longer than their shuttle. The wings crackled with bioelectric energy, creating arcs of lightning that jumped between the feathers. Its head was angular and sharp, with 3 eyes that glowed bright yellow. Its talons were as long as Daeho was tall. Holy stars, Yuna breathed. It is magnificent. It is death, Taewon corrected. The Sky Hunter's 3 eyes locked onto the decoy drone. It spread its wings fully and called out. The sound was like thunder mixed with music, deep and resonating. It made Daeho's bones vibrate. Nari covered her ears again, whimpering. Then the Sky Hunter launched itself at the drone. It was fast, impossibly fast for something so large. It crossed the distance in seconds, talons reaching out to grab the drone. The drone dodged at the last moment, programmed to evade. The Sky Hunter missed and circled around for another attempt. "It is working," Taewon said. "The drone is keeping it busy." "Move us in," Daeho ordered. "Quickly while it is distracted." Yuna took the controls and guided the shuttle toward the nest's opening. The entrance was large enough to fit them, but barely. The shuttle's wings scraped against the crystallized edges with an awful screeching sound. They entered the nest. Inside was darkness, lit by faint bioelectric glows. The passage twisted and turned, lined with bones and metal fragments. Some of the bones were huge, from creatures Daeho did not recognize. Others were smaller, more human-sized. He tried not to think about them. "Keep going straight," Nari said urgently. "I can feel her. She is deeper inside." Yuna navigated carefully. The passage barely had room for the shuttle. Once they scraped the ceiling and alarms blared before Yuna corrected. Once they almost turned into a dead end before Nari told them to go left instead. "How much time before the Sky Hunter gets bored of the drone?" Bora asked. "Not long," Taewon said, watching his instruments. "It is learning. Each attack gets closer. The drone cannot dodge forever." "Then we need to hurry," Daeho said. The passage opened into a chamber, and there, suspended in a cage of crystallized material that glowed with electromagnetic energy, was a Lumini woman. She hung limply in the center, her glow very dim, almost extinguished. "Mother!" Nari screamed. Hana's eyes opened slightly. She saw her daughter and her glow brightened just a little. She tried to speak, but no sound came out. "Land us right there," Daeho said, pointing to a flat section near the cage. "Bora, get ready. Yuna, we need to break that cage." The shuttle touched down with a rough bump. The team moved fast. Bora ran to Hana with her medical equipment. Yuna pulled out cutting tools to work on the crystallized cage. Taewon stood guard at the shuttle's door, weapon ready. Daeho helped Nari out of her restraints. She ran to her mother, tears glowing bright on her face. She pressed her hands against the cage. "We are here, Mother. We came for you. The humans came for you." Yuna's cutting tools sparked against the cage. "This material is tough. It is reinforced with electromagnetic fields. I need 5 minutes to cut through." Outside in the distance, the Sky Hunter called out again, but this time the sound was different. Angry. Suspicious. "The drone just died," Taewon reported. "The Sky Hunter destroyed it." Daeho felt ice run down his spine. "How long before it comes back to the nest?" "If it comes straight here," Taewon said quietly, "about 2 minutes." Everyone stopped moving for just a heartbeat. "Yuna," Daeho said, "you have 2 minutes, not 5. Cut faster." Yuna's hands moved in a blur. Sparks flew. The cage began to crack. And somewhere in the darkness behind them, they heard the sound of massive wings approaching. Yuna's cutting tools screamed against the crystallized cage. Sparks showered down like rain. The electromagnetic field around the cage fought back, making the tool overheat in her hands. She ignored the heat and kept cutting. 1 minute, Taewon said from his position at the shuttle door. He could hear the Sky Hunter coming closer through the twisting passages of the nest. The sound of its wings echoed through the chambers like approaching thunder. "Almost through," Yuna grunted. Sweat ran down her face. The cage had a crack now, running from top to bottom. But it needed more. Just a little more. Bora had her medical scanner pointed at Hana through the cage bars. "Her vital signs are weak but stable. Body temperature is too low. She is dehydrated and showing signs of shock. But she will survive if we can get her out soon." Nari pressed her face against the cage, her glow bright with desperation. "Hold on, Mother. Just a little longer. Please hold on." Hana's eyes focused on her daughter. She tried to smile. Her hand moved slowly, reaching through the bars to touch Nari's fingers. The connection made both their glows brighten. Despite everything, despite the fear and the danger, mother and daughter had found each other again. 30 seconds, Tae-Wan said. His voice was steady, but his grip on his weapon was tight. I see movement in the passage. It is coming. The cutting tool finally broke through. The cage split open with a sound like breaking glass. The electromagnetic field collapsed. Hana fell forward and Bora caught her, supporting the Lumini woman's weight. I have her, Bora said. Help me get her to the shuttle. Nari grabbed her mother's other arm. Together they half-carried, half-dragged Hana toward the shuttle. Hana's legs barely worked. She was weak from days in the cage, from the cold, from fear. But she was alive. Yuna threw her tools aside and ran to help. Daeho started the shuttle engines. They roared to life, filling the chamber with sound and vibration. 10 seconds, Tae-Wan said. 9, 8. They got Hana into the shuttle. Bora laid her on a bench and started immediate treatment, wrapping her in warming blankets and attaching an IV line for fluids. Nari held her mother's hand, crying and laughing at the same time. Everyone in! Daeho shouted. Now! Yuna dove through the shuttle door. Tae-Wan backed up, weapon still pointed at the passage entrance. 5 seconds. 4. Tae-Wan. Get in here, Daeho commanded. 3, 2. Tae-Wan fired his weapon 3 times into the passage, creating smoke and confusion. Then he turned and ran for the shuttle. He jumped through the door just as Daeho started to close it. The Sky Hunter burst into the chamber. It was even more terrifying up close. Its 3 yellow eyes blazed with intelligence and fury. It saw its prey being stolen. It saw the shuttle. It understood what was happening, and it was not going to let them leave. The creature spread its wings wide, filling the chamber. Arcs of electricity jumped from its wing tips to the walls, to the ceiling, to the ground. The whole nest began to glow with bioelectric energy. Go! Tae-Wan shouted. Go now! Daeho slammed the throttle forward. The shuttle lifted off the ground with agonizing slowness. The engines fought against the weight and the gravity and the electromagnetic interference from the Sky Hunter. Inch by inch, they rose. The Sky Hunter called out. That same thunder music sound, but louder now, angry. It lunged forward, talons reaching. The shuttle shot upward just as the talons closed on empty air. They scraped the bottom of the shuttle with an awful metallic screech. Alarms blared. The hull integrity dropped to 70% in 1 instant. We are hit but still flying, Yuna reported. Hull breach in cargo bay but sealed. We can make it. Daeho guided the shuttle back through the twisting passage. The Sky Hunter followed, too large to fly easily through the narrow space but determined. It climbed and crawled, using its talons to pull itself along. It was gaining on them. It is coming after us, Bora said, looking back through the small window. It is fast. Not fast enough, Daeho said through gritted teeth. Hold on. They burst out of the nest entrance and back into the eye of the storm. For a moment, just a moment, Daeho thought they had made it. They could fly up and out of the storm layer. They could escape. Then the Sky Hunter emerged from the nest behind them. In the open air, it was truly in its element. Its wings spread to their full span, catching the air currents. It was no longer crawling. It was flying, and it was incredibly fast. Evasive maneuvers, Tae-Wan shouted. Daeho threw the shuttle into a sharp turn. The Sky Hunter shot past them, missing by meters. It circled around immediately, adjusting its approach. Its 3 eyes locked onto the shuttle. It understood now that this was not normal prey. This was something that fought back. The creature dove at them from above. Daeho saw it coming and rolled the shuttle. The talons missed again, but the wing clipped their hull. The impact sent them spinning. Warning lights flooded the console. Port engine is damaged, Yuna said. Down to 60% power. Can we make it out of the storm layer? Daeho asked. Maybe, if it stops hitting us. The Sky Hunter had other plans. It positioned itself between the shuttle and the way out. It hung in the air, wings spread, blocking their escape route. Its eyes glowed brighter. Electricity danced along its body. "It is smart," Bora said quietly. "It knows we are trying to escape. It is cutting us off." "Then we go through it," Deho said. "That is suicide," Taewon protested. "You have a better idea?" Nobody did. Deho pointed the shuttle directly at the Sky Hunter. He pushed the throttle to maximum. The damaged engine screamed in protest but responded. They accelerated forward. The Sky Hunter did not move. It waited. It was calling Deho's bluff. "Taewon," Deho said calmly, "do you have any weapons that can hurt that thing?" "I have one plasma charge left, but I need to be close, very close." "How close?" 50 meters. They were at 200 meters and closing fast. 150, 100. The Sky Hunter suddenly realized this was not a bluff. The humans were actually going to ram it. At the last possible moment, the creature tried to move aside. "Now!" Deho shouted. Taewon fired the plasma charge. The bright projectile shot out and struck the Sky Hunter's left wing. The explosion was not huge, but it was enough. The wing membrane tore. Electricity arced wildly from the wound. The Sky Hunter screamed in pain and fury. It tumbled sideways, trying to stabilize with its damaged wing. For just a moment, the escape route was clear. Deho did not hesitate. He flew the shuttle through the gap, past the wounded creature, heading for the storm wall. Behind them, the Sky Hunter recovered and gave chase, but it was slower now. The damaged wing made flying difficult. They hit the storm wall at full speed. Lightning struck the shuttle. Once, twice, 3 times. The EMP shields held, but barely. The hull temperature spiked as they pushed through the wind and hail. The shuttle shook so hard that Deho thought it would break apart, but humans built things tough, and Yuna had reinforced this shuttle with everything she had. They broke through the storm layer into the calmer air below. The shaking eased. The lightning stopped. The Sky Hunter did not follow them out. Either it could not fly well enough with its injured wing, or it had decided the prey was not worth leaving its territory. "Is everyone alive?" Deho asked. Voices answered from the back. Yuna, Taewon, Bora, and finally, weakly, Hana. "Yes, we are alive." Nari was crying again, but this time from relief and joy. She held her mother close. Hana held her daughter with trembling arms. "You came," Hana whispered in her native language. "You actually came for me." "The humans came," Nari said. "They flew into the storm. They faced the Sky Hunter. They saved you, Mother. The humans saved you." Hana looked toward the cockpit where Deho sat. Her glowing eyes met his in the rearview mirror. She could not speak human words well, but her expression said everything. Gratitude, wonder, disbelief. Deho gave her a small nod. Then he turned back to the controls and focused on landing the damaged shuttle safely. Just another day of doing the impossible. Just another life saved that everyone said could not be saved. Just humans being humans. The shuttle limped through the lower atmosphere, trailing smoke from the damaged port engine. Alarms beeped constantly, creating an annoying rhythm that nobody had the energy to silence. Deho guided them down carefully, looking for a safe place to land. "We are losing altitude faster than I would like," Yuna said, watching the instruments. "The port engine just died completely. We are flying on one engine now." "How far to the colony?" Deho asked. 40 kilometers. "We will not make it." "Then we land somewhere else. Anywhere flat will do." Bora continued working on Hana in the back of the shuttle. The Lumini woman was stable now, her body temperature rising under the warming blankets. The IV fluids were helping with the dehydration, but she was still weak and traumatized from her ordeal. Nari sat beside her mother, holding her hand, speaking softly in their language. Hannah managed weak smiles in response. Just seeing her daughter seemed to give her strength. "There," Taewon said, pointing out the window. "That clearing, it is big enough." Deho saw it, a flat area of grassland surrounded by low hills. Not perfect, but it would work. He adjusted their approach, fighting the controls as the damaged shuttle responded sluggishly. Everyone braced for landing. This might be rough. That was an understatement. They hit the ground hard. The landing gear on one side collapsed immediately. The shuttle tilted and scraped along the ground for 50 meters before finally stopping. More alarms joined the chorus. Sparks flew from damaged circuits. "Everybody out," Deho ordered. "This shuttle might catch fire." They evacuated quickly. Taewon and Yuna helped carry Hana, while Nari grabbed the medical supplies. Bora brought the emergency kit. Deho was last out, pausing only to grab their communication equipment and supplies. They moved away from the shuttle and set up a temporary camp behind some rocks. Just in time. 5 minutes later, the port engine caught fire. Black smoke billowed into the sky. "Well," Yuna said, watching her shuttle burn. "That is not how I wanted today to end." "We are alive," Deho reminded her. "The mission was a success." "True. Still hurts to watch, though." Bora had laid Hana on a thermal blanket. The Lumini woman looked small and fragile in the afternoon light. Her glow was still dim, pulsing weakly. Nari sat beside her, never letting go of her hand. "How is she?" Deho asked. "She will recover," Bora said. "Her people are tougher than they look. She needs rest, proper food, and time. But she will be okay." "Good. How long until we can move her?" "At least a few hours. Maybe tomorrow morning." Deho nodded. He moved away to set up the communication equipment. He needed to call the colony for extraction, but when he powered up the device, he got only static. "Yuna, the comm system is not working." Yuna came over and examined it. She opened the casing and frowned. "Fried. The electromagnetic pulses from the Sky Hunter must have damaged it even through the shielding. I can fix it, but I need parts. Parts that were on the shuttle, which is now on fire." "So we are stuck here," Taewon said, "in the middle of nowhere, with no way to call for help." "The colony knows our general flight path," Deho said. "When we do not return, they will send search parties. We just need to wait." "How long?" Nari asked nervously. "A day. Maybe 2. We have supplies. We will be fine." They settled in to wait. Taewon set up a perimeter alarm system using what equipment he had. Yuna salvaged what she could from the burning shuttle once it was safe to approach. Bora continued to monitor Hana's condition. Deho kept watch. The first day passed quietly. They made camp, ate from their emergency rations, and took turns sleeping. Hana woke up several times, confused and frightened, but Nari was always there to comfort her. By evening, Hana was able to sit up and speak a few words. "Thank you," she whispered to Deho in halting human language. "You saved my life." "You would have done the same for us," Deho replied. Hana shook her head slowly. "No, my people could not. We have no warriors, no ships, no courage like humans have. You faced the Sky Hunter for me, a stranger. Why?" "Because you needed help," Deho said simply. "That is reason enough." Hana's eyes filled with tears. She looked at each of the humans in turn. "I will never forget this. My people will never forget this." That night, Deho took first watch. He sat on a rock overlooking their camp, scanning the sky and the horizon. The stars were bright above, peaceful, beautiful. Hard to believe that just hours ago they had been fighting for their lives in a storm nest. He thought about Hana's question. Why did they do it? Why risk everything for someone they did not know? Other species in the galaxy found this confusing about humans. They helped their own kind, sure. But humans helped everyone, even strangers, even enemies sometimes. Deho did not have a philosophical answer. It just felt right. When someone needed help, you helped. Simple as that. A sound made him turn. Yuna climbed up to join him, carrying 2 cups of hot coffee that she had made on their portable heater. "Thought you might want some," she said, handing him a cup. "Thanks." The coffee was terrible, but warm. "Could not sleep?" "Too much adrenaline still in my system. That was close today." "Really close. But we made it." "We made it," Yuna agreed. She was quiet for a moment, sipping her coffee. "Do you ever wonder if we are crazy, flying into situations like that?" "Every time," Daeho admitted. "Right before I do it anyway." Yuna laughed softly. "Yeah, me too." She paused. "But you know what? I would not change it. This is what we are supposed to do. Help people, save lives, even when it is impossible." "Especially when it is impossible," Daeho corrected with a slight smile. They sat in comfortable silence, drinking bad coffee and watching the stars. Behind them, in the camp, Bora was checking on Hana while Nari slept curled up next to her mother. Taewan was also asleep, snoring softly. Just a normal night after an impossible rescue. Then Taewan's perimeter alarm started beeping. Daeho was on his feet instantly, coffee forgotten. "What is it?" Taewan woke up and checked his scanner. His face went pale. "Something big, flying, coming from the north." "How big?" Yuna asked, but she already knew the answer. "Sky Hunter big." Everyone froze. Nari woke up, her glow flaring bright with fear. Hana tried to sit up, panic in her eyes. "That is impossible," Bora said. "We wounded it. It should not be able to fly this far." "Apparently it can," Taewan said grimly. "And it is coming straight for us." Daeho's mind raced. The Sky Hunter had tracked them. But how? Then he understood. The smoke from the burning shuttle. Like a beacon showing exactly where they were. And the creature was angry. They had invaded its nest. They had stolen its prey. They had hurt it. Now it wanted revenge. "Everyone pack up," Daeho ordered. "Right now. We need to move." "Hana cannot move fast," Bora protested. "She is too weak." "Then we carry her, but we cannot stay here. That thing will tear us apart." They scrambled to gather their supplies. Taewan grabbed his weapons. Yuna collected the essential equipment. Bora and Nari helped Hana to her feet. The Lumine woman tried to walk, but her legs gave out. Taewan lifted her in his arms. "Which way do we run?" Yuna asked. "The hills," Daeho said. "There are caves. If we can reach them before the Sky Hunter arrives, we might have a chance." They ran. Taewan carried Hana despite her being dead weight. Bora and Nari stayed close to them. Yuna and Daeho brought up the rear, carrying supplies and weapons. Behind them, the Sky Hunter's call echoed across the grassland. That same thunder music sound. Closer now, much closer. They reached the hills and found a cave opening. It was narrow, maybe too narrow for the Sky Hunter to fit through. Maybe. "Inside," Daeho commanded. "Everyone inside, now." They squeezed into the cave just as the Sky Hunter appeared over the hills. It circled once, its 3 yellow eyes scanning the ground. It saw the burning shuttle, it saw the abandoned camp, it saw the cave entrance, and it dove straight toward them. The Sky Hunter slammed into the ground outside the cave entrance. The impact shook the earth. Rocks fell from the cave ceiling. Dust filled the air, making everyone cough. The creature's massive head appeared at the cave opening. Its 3 yellow eyes glowed in the darkness. It tried to push its way inside, but the opening was too narrow. Its shoulders wedged in the entrance, blocking most of the light from outside. "Get back!" Daeho shouted. "Everyone to the back of the cave!" They retreated deeper into the darkness. Taewan set Hana down gently and raised his weapon. He fired at the Sky Hunter's head. The plasma bolts struck its scales and bounced off harmlessly. The creature did not even flinch. "My weapons are not strong enough," Taewan said. "We need something bigger." The Sky Hunter pulled its head back out. For a moment there was silence. Then they heard a different sound. Scraping, tearing. The creature was using its talons to widen the cave entrance. "It is trying to dig us out," Bora said. "What do we do?" Dayho looked around the cave desperately. There had to be another way out. A back entrance. A tunnel. Something. But his eyes had not adjusted to the darkness yet. He could barely see anything. Nari's glow suddenly brightened. She and her mother both began to shine more intensely, their bioluminescence lighting up the cave interior. It was a defensive response from their species, light to scare away predators. "Thank you," Dayho said. In the light, he could see the cave went deeper. "There, a passage in the back. Move." They grabbed their supplies and ran deeper into the cave system. Behind them, the sounds of digging grew louder. The Sky Hunter was making progress. The cave entrance was definitely getting wider. The passage twisted and turned. Sometimes they had to crawl. Sometimes the ceiling was high enough to run. They followed it blindly, having no choice. Either this led somewhere safe, or they were trapping themselves. After what felt like forever but was probably only 5 minutes, they emerged into a larger chamber. This one had multiple passages leading off in different directions. But more importantly, it had a crack in the ceiling that let in fresh air and a shaft of daylight. "We can climb out," Yuna said, examining the crack. "It is narrow, but we can fit." "What about Hana?" Bora asked. "She is too weak to climb." They heard the Sky Hunter's call echo through the passage behind them. It had broken through the entrance. It was coming. "I will climb first," Taiwan said. "I will secure a rope from the top. We can pull Hana up." "We do not have time," Dayho said. The creature was getting closer. He could hear its footsteps now, heavy and determined. "Taiwan, take Nari and climb out. Call for help if you can get a signal. Yuna, Bora, help them." "What about you?" Yuna demanded. "I am staying. Someone needs to slow that thing down, buy you time to escape." "That is suicide," Taiwan protested. "Maybe, but Hana cannot climb in her condition, and I am not leaving her here to die after we work so hard to save her. So I stay. You go." "That is an order." They hesitated. None of them wanted to leave Dayho behind, but they all knew he was right. The team had to survive. The mission had to succeed. Sometimes that meant someone had to make a sacrifice. "I am staying with you," Hana said weakly in human language. "You saved me. I will not let you die for me." "Mother, no," Nari said, tears streaming down her glowing face. "Go with them, daughter," Hana said firmly. "Tell our people what the humans did for us. Tell them about Dayho. Tell them that humans are our friends forever. Promise me." Nari sobbed but nodded. Taiwan picked her up gently and started climbing through the crack in the ceiling. Yuna and Bora followed, climbing fast. Dayho checked his weapon. He had 1 plasma charge left. Taiwan had given him 2 more, 3 shots total, against a creature that their weapons barely scratched. "You should have gone with them," Hana said. "Someone had to stay," Dayho replied. "Might as well be me." The Sky Hunter entered the chamber. It was cramped in the smaller space, wings folded tight against its body. But here, it could move more easily than in the narrow passages. Its 3 eyes found Dayho and Hana immediately. It advanced slowly, cautiously. It had learned that these humans were dangerous, not because they were strong, but because they were clever and unpredictable. Dayho raised his weapon. "Come on then, let us finish this," the Sky Hunter called out. That thunder music sound, but quieter this time, almost questioning. It tilted its head, studying them. And Dayho realized something. The creature was not just angry, it was confused. Why had they come to its nest? Why had they taken its prey? Why were they still fighting when they were so clearly outmatched? "You do not understand us, do you?" Dayho said. "You do not understand why humans do what we do." The Sky Hunter took another step closer. Dayho fired. The plasma bolt struck its shoulder. The creature flinched, but did not retreat. We came because she needed help, Daeho continued, gesturing to Hana. We risked our lives because it was the right thing to do. You cannot understand that. You are a predator. You take what you want. We are different. We protect what we love. He fired again, this time hitting the creature's already injured wing. It roared in pain and anger. Electricity arced from its body, striking the cave walls. One shot left. The Sky Hunter lunged forward, talons extended. Daeho dove to the side, rolling. The talons missed him by centimeters, striking the stone floor and sending up sparks. He came up on one knee and aimed carefully. Not at the head, not at the body. At the ceiling above the creature. At the spot where Yuna had noted the rock looked unstable. He fired his last shot. The plasma bolt struck the ceiling. Rock exploded. The entire section collapsed, tons of stone falling directly onto the Sky Hunter. The creature roared and tried to move but was too slow. The rocks buried it, pinning its wings and body. Daeho grabbed Hana and ran for the crack in the ceiling. He pushed her up first, then climbed after her. His muscles screamed with effort. His hands bled from gripping the rough stone. But he climbed. Below, the Sky Hunter thrashed under the rocks. It was not dead, not even close, but it was trapped, for now. Daeho reached the top and pulled Hana up beside him. They emerged onto a hillside in the late afternoon sun. The rest of the team was there, having made it safely. "You made it," Yuna said, relief flooding her voice. "Barely," Daeho admitted. He looked back down at the crack. They could still hear the Sky Hunter below, struggling against the rocks. "We need to move. That cave-in will not hold it long." Taewon had already scouted their position. "The colony is that way. About 15 kilometers. We can make it by nightfall if we hurry." They started walking. Taewon carried Hana again, despite being exhausted. Bora and Nari supported each other. Yuna and Daeho brought up the rear, watching for any sign of pursuit. The Sky Hunter did not follow. Maybe it had finally given up. Maybe it was too injured. Or maybe it had simply decided these strange humans were more trouble than they were worth. They walked as the sun set, painting the sky orange and red. Hana was conscious now, watching the humans who had saved her. Watching them push forward despite their exhaustion, despite their injuries, despite everything. "Why?" she asked Daeho quietly. "Why risk so much for someone you do not know?" Daeho thought about his answer for a long time. Finally he said, "Because someone has to. Because if we do not help when we can, then what are we? Just another species looking out only for ourselves. That is not enough. Not for humans. We want to be better than that. We want to be the kind of people who help, even when it is hard, especially when it is hard." Hana was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You are remarkable, all of you. I thought I would die in that nest. I had accepted it. Then you came. You did the impossible. You are the bravest beings I have ever known." "We are just people doing what needs to be done," Daeho said. "Nothing special." But Hana shook her head. "No, you are special. Humans are special. And I will make sure everyone knows it." They reached the colony just as the stars came out. The guards at the gate saw them coming and ran to help. Medical teams rushed out with stretchers. Questions flew from every direction. But Daeho just walked past them all. He found a bench and sat down heavily. Every muscle ached. He had burns on his hands and bruises everywhere. He was pretty sure at least 2 ribs were cracked. But they had done it. They had rescued Hana from a Sky Hunter's nest. They had survived. Yuna sat beside him. Then Taewon. Then Bora. They did not speak. They did not need to. They had done another impossible mission together. They had saved another life that everyone said could not be saved. Just another day of being human. 2 weeks had passed since the rescue. Daeho's ribs had healed enough that breathing did not hurt anymore. The burns on his hands had faded to pink scars. He was back at his repair shop working on engines and trying to return to his quiet life. It was not working. The story had spread. First through the colony, then to other human settlements, then to the alien communities. Within days, everyone on the planet knew about the Sky Hunter rescue. Within a week, the story had reached other worlds through trade ships and communication networks. Reporters had come to interview him. Deho had refused to talk to them. They interviewed Yuna instead, who told the story with enthusiasm and plenty of technical details. They interviewed Taewon, who kept his answers short and professional. They interviewed Bora, who spoke about the medical challenges. But mostly they interviewed Nari and Hana. The Lumini mother and daughter had recovered fully. Hana's glow was bright again. She had regained her strength, but something had changed in her. She was not content to return to her quiet life in the valley. She wanted to do something. She wanted to tell everyone about what humans had done. Hana gave interviews to anyone who would listen. She spoke at gatherings of different species. She told the story over and over. How the humans had come when no one else would. How they had flown into the storm. How they had faced the Sky Hunter. How they had risked everything for a stranger. Humans are not the strongest species, she would say. They are not the fastest or the smartest, but they have something that makes them unique in all the galaxy. They have courage. They have compassion. They refuse to accept that something is impossible. When everyone else gives up, humans keep trying. When everyone else walks away, humans step forward. Her words resonated. Other species began to see humans differently, not as the aggressive newcomers they had thought. Not as the unpredictable warriors they had feared, but as protectors, as helpers, as the species that came when you called for aid. It made Deho uncomfortable. He did not want to be a hero. He had just done what needed doing. But the galaxy seemed determined to make heroes out of him and his team. The human government awarded them medals. Deho tried to refuse, but they insisted. There was a ceremony with speeches and crowds. Deho stood on stage in an uncomfortable formal uniform and accepted a piece of metal on a ribbon. He gave a very short speech. "We did what anyone should have done. Thank you." That was it. That was all he said. The crowd loved it anyway. After the ceremony, Deho went back to his shop. He opened the door and found someone waiting for him, an alien he had never seen before. This one was tall and thin, with 4 arms and green skin. They looked nervous. "Can I help you?" Deho asked. "My name is Kito," the alien said in heavily accented human language. "I heard about what you did, about the Sky Hunter rescue. I need help. My brother was taken by slavers 3 weeks ago. The authorities say they cannot find him. They say there is nothing they can do. But I thought, maybe you—" Deho sighed deeply. He had known this was coming. The rescue had been too public, too successful. Now everyone with a problem would come to him. "I am not a hero," Deho said. "I am just a mechanic. I fix engines." "You saved Hana from a Sky Hunter's nest," Kito said. "Everyone says it was impossible, but you did it anyway. Please. My brother is all I have. The slavers took him off-world. I tracked them to a station in the Theta sector. But I cannot go there alone. I need someone who does impossible things." Deho looked at the alien's desperate face. He saw the same expression Nari had worn when she first came to his door. Hope mixed with fear. The belief that maybe, just maybe, a human could help. "The Theta sector is 3 weeks away by ship," Deho said. "It is a dangerous area. Lots of pirates and criminals. Even if I find your brother, getting him out will not be easy." "But you will try?" Kito asked. Deho thought about saying no. He thought about his promise to himself to live a quiet life. He thought about how much easier it would be to just fix engines and avoid danger. Then he thought about Hana, trapped in that nest, believing she would die there. He thought about Nari's tears. He thought about the moment when they had pulled off the impossible rescue and saved a life. I will make some calls, Daeho said. I will see if my team is available. No promises, but I will try. Kito's whole body sagged with relief. Thank you. Thank you so much. After Kito left, Daeho sat at his workbench and picked up his communication device. He stared at it for a long moment. Then he called Yuna. Already got another job for us? Yuna asked when she answered. She sounded amused. How did you know? Because I know you, and because I have had 3 people ask me for help this week alone. Everyone thinks humans can solve their problems now. Thanks to our little adventure, we are famous. Is that a complaint? Daeho asked. Nope, just an observation. So what is the job? Daeho explained about Kito and his missing brother, the slavers, the dangerous station. When he finished, there was silence on the other end. That sounds even more suicidal than the Sky Hunter, Yuna said finally. Probably. When do we leave? Daeho smiled despite himself. Let me call Taewon and Bora. If they are in, we leave in 3 days. They will be in, Yuna said confidently. We are a team, and apparently we are now the team that does impossible rescues. She was right. Taewon agreed immediately. So did Bora. Within an hour, they were already planning the mission. The old excitement was back, the challenge, the sense of purpose. That evening, Hana and Nari came to visit Daeho. They brought food from their village, strange glowing fruits that tasted like honey and starlight. They sat with him in his shop and talked. I heard you are taking another mission, Hana said, helping another species. Word travels fast, Daeho muttered. It always does where humans are involved, Hana said with a smile. You are becoming legends, you know. Stories are already being told about you. Songs are being written. Children of many species are playing games where they pretend to be brave humans, rescuing people from danger. That sounds embarrassing, Daeho said. That sounds wonderful, Hana corrected. You are changing how people see humans. You are building a reputation across the galaxy, a reputation as helpers, as protectors, as the ones who come when all hope is lost. We are just doing our job, Daeho said uncomfortably. No, Nari spoke up. You are doing more than that. You are showing everyone what humans are, what you can be. My people will never forget what you did. We have formed an alliance with the human colony here. We trade with you. We learn from you. We consider humans our closest friends. All because you came when I asked for help. Hana nodded. And we are not the only ones. I have spoken to representatives from 7 different species in the past 2 weeks. All of them want to improve relations with humans, all because they heard our story. You are creating a legacy, whether you want to or not. Daeho did not know what to say to that. He had never thought about legacy. He had just thought about saving people. After Hana and Nari left, Daeho sat alone in his shop. He looked at his old rescue jacket hanging on the wall. He thought about all the missions he had done over the years. All the people he had saved. He had always thought of it as just doing his job. Nothing special. But maybe it was special. Maybe doing the right thing, even when it was hard, even when it was dangerous, even when everyone said it was impossible. Maybe that was something worth celebrating. Maybe that was what made humans different. Not that they were stronger or smarter or better than other species, but that they tried. They helped. They refused to give up on people. 3 days later, Daeho and his team left on a ship heading for the Theta sector. Kito went with them, along with supplies and weapons and a plan that was only half-formed. It was another impossible mission, another crazy rescue that probably would not work, but they would try anyway, because that was what humans did. As the ship left the planet's atmosphere, Daeho looked back at the world below. Somewhere down there in the storm clouds, the Sky Hunter still lived. It had survived their encounter. Become part of the legend. the great beast that humans had dared to challenge. Daiho hoped they never met again, but if they did, he was confident that humans would find a way to survive. They always did. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying them toward their next adventure, toward the next person who needed help, toward the next impossible task, and back on the planet, in villages and colonies and cities, people told stories. Stories about the humans who flew into a storm to save a life, stories about courage and determination and refusing to accept the impossible. The legend of humanity was growing, one rescue at a time, one life saved at a time, one impossible mission at a time. And somewhere in the galaxy, another person in trouble was learning that humans existed, learning that when you called for help, when no one else would come, when the situation seemed hopeless, there was one species that would answer. Humans. The ones who helped, the ones who tried, the ones who turned impossible into possible. That was the legacy being built, not with weapons or conquest or force, but with compassion, courage, and the simple willingness to help someone in need. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy, and it was more powerful than any weapon, any technology, any army. Because in the end, what the galaxy needed most was not more power. It needed more kindness, more courage, more people willing to do the right thing even when it was hard. It needed more humans. And humans, as always, were ready to answer the call.